Well, hello, beautiful humans. Here I am back again after less than 5 minutes. After I ended my last live stream, all of a sudden, East Idaho News posted the hearing, Lori Daybell's restitution hearing. Today, October 24th, it's about 3:50 p.m. in the afternoon, Standard Time. Central Time. Little discombobulated. Yeah, so I've barely just, as soon as I hung up from the last live, saw that it had been posted. And so here we are. It's a very short hearing. It's a very sassy hearing. And unfortunately, I'm going to break my promise to you. I am going to put her on mute the first time through. But then the second time through, it's a very short hearing. So I'm going to go ahead and let you hear Ms. Daybell in all of her snark and glory, because it's kind of funny, to be honest with you. She definitely has a little bit of sass. So I'm going to go ahead and share this with you. We will listen to it in its entirety with Lori on mute, and then I'll go back for those who are not triggered by it and allow people to hear Lori's voice because it's a little bit funny. So here we go. This time through, I will mute her and read the transcript.
Mr. Lund, could I have you turn your camera off just to not be a distraction? All right, I called the case. Let's have the state announce.
Trina Kay on behalf of the state.
And
Lori Daybell for the defense.
And fine, this is the time set for restitution hearing. Have there been any agreements?
Your Honor, I am not sure. I was going to check with Ms. Daybell if she would stipulate to anything. I do have one correction in the documents on bait stamp 101133. What we've learned is that the gas receipts that were provided are not all of the gas receipts, and so that's why we had done the mileage. But we forgot to remove the gas receipts themselves. So we should actually remove $348.98, which would make the total restitution request $8,600.54.
Okay, I'll ask the defendant, are you stipulating to any restitution?
Your Honor, on Wednesday night, I did receive those Bates numbers that were supposed to be given to me from my advisory council. They mailed them to me. I just got them. I was able to review those. Those ended at Bates number 101161. And yesterday, I was informed by my advisory council that the state sent over one more document on Tuesday by email to my advisory council. And I have not seen that document. It's Bates number 101162. It is my understanding, since I talked to my advisory council yesterday, that that document is a document. They kind of explained it, what it was to me, and so my understanding is, and although I'm aware that counseling, thank you, although I'm aware that counseling costs can be included in restitution, this document turned over by the state is an Excel spreadsheet totaling $3,147 in counseling. There are no invoices from doctors or insurance companies to my knowledge, so the document in and of itself seems to be insufficient. I haven't actually seen it. However, based on how my trials were conducted, since experience tells me that regardless of what I say or what anybody else says, you're going to order it, I am willing to stipulate today. It is my understanding that I've already been ordered by this court to pay over $534,000 in fees, fines, surcharges, and court fees. So you can add Ms. Woodcock's total of $1,296.97 of restitution to my tab.
$1,747.99.
So Trina corrects the math on here. It's actually 11,000. We'll go back over this. Don't worry. It's really short.
Hold on, 11,740.
$7.99.
All right. Ms. Daybell, you're stipulating to pay restitution to Kay Woodcock in the amount of $11,747.99.
That's correct.
In the last 24 hours that would affect your ability to have this, to make this decision.
Sorry, I cut off Judge Boreski. I'm going to rewind just a tiny bit so that you can hear exactly what he says.
Your ability to have this
Rewinding just a little bit more.
medication, any drugs, alcohol, or medication in the last 24 hours that would affect your ability to have this, to make this decision.
Have I been on any drugs, Your Honor? Is that what you're asking? Oops.
Your ability to understand or make this decision today.
Is Your Honor aware that I am in prison? I have no access to any of those things, so no, the answer is no, I have not.
The question. Has anyone promised you anything in exchange for your agreement to pay this restitution?
No.
Has anyone forced you, threatened you, or coerced you to get you to agree to pay this restitution?
Only my trials, Your Honor, coerced me.
Court finds that your agreement is knowingly, intelligently, voluntarily made. It's ordered that you pay $11,747.99 in restitution to Kay Woodcock. The restitution would take priority over any other fines and fees that have been imposed. And it's ordered that that restitution be paid out at the maximum rate allowable out of any prison account. Ms. Kay, do you anticipate any other restitution requests?
Your Honor, we are still awaiting restitution requests from Brandon Boudreaux. I know that he's been busy with work and he hasn't got all of those documents together. When I get those, I will submit them to Advisory Council and to Ms. Daybell's investigator, who seems to be able to get that to her much easier. And just for the record, Ms. Woodcock is still ongoing counseling, so there could be subsequent requests.
Well, the court retains jurisdiction over the matter of restitution for the period that the defendant is serving a sentence. So I'm not setting any further hearings at this time. We'll wait and see if any requests for hearing come in. All right, thank you. We'll be at recess.
So, by the way, I haven't watched chat at all because I was trying to, handle the mute button to save all of you guys. So in this very short hearing, we got a lot. We got a lot of garbage coming through the line over here. So just the bottom line for those of you who are not interested in hearing any more from this defendant, you'll be very excited and happy to learn that Judge Boreski just now said he is not setting any additional hearings for the time being. Now we know that Brandon Boudreaux may submit some requests for restitution at some point. However, it's possible that Lori could go ahead and stipulate to that, and then we wouldn't have to have a hearing. But as you and I both know, she's not going to pass up an opportunity to come on Zoom and do what she's doing right now, which is to smile and wave and laugh and flirt and just generally make herself look like a fool. So that's $11,747.99 with the maximum amount allowable to be deducted from her prison account, which from what I understand, they can take up to 30% out of her commissary account. And now I want to go back and just re-listen to this a little bit, because really all they were asking is if Lori had received the documents about the amount of money that was being asked for restitution by Kay Woodcock. And there is a very telling point at which she turns from trying to be a little bit professional about this to just being snarky. And I'm just giving you fair warning. I am going to play her voice at this point because we're going to look at her body language and everything as she talks to the judge, and we're going to make some more observations. So if you don't want to hear her voice, now's the time to have a lovely Friday and enjoy your weekend. But we are going to go back through a little bit of this here. So Trina K goes through and says there was a mileage error that they needed to correct. And then Judge Boreski speaks directly to Lori.
I'll ask the defendant, are you stipulating to any restitution?
Your Honor, on Wednesday night, I did receive those Bates numbers that were supposed to be given to me from my advisory council. They mailed them to me. I just got them. I was able to review those. Those ended at Bates number 101161. And yesterday I was informed by my advisory council that the state sent over one more document on Tuesday by email to my advisory council, and I have not seen that document.
I'm sorry, I have a fly. But this is the point. When she finishes this sentence, a switch flips and she completely changes her tone here.
It's Bates number 101162. It is my understanding, since I talked to my advisory council yesterday, that that document is a document. They kind of explained what it was to me. And so my understanding is, and although I'm aware that counseling, thank you. Although I'm aware that counseling costs can be included in restitution, this document turned over by the state is an Excel spreadsheet totaling $3,147 in counseling. There are no invoices from doctors or insurance companies to my knowledge. So the document in and of itself seems to be insufficient. I haven't actually seen it.
So when she starts this sentence with however, this is where the switch flips.
However, based on how my trials were conducted, since experience tells me that regardless of what I say or what anybody else says, you're going to order it, I am willing to stipulate today. It is my understanding that I have already been ordered by this court to pay over $534,000 in fees, in fines, surcharges, and court fees. So you can add Ms. Woodcock's total of $12,096.97 of restitution to my tab.
So there's the snark that we were all kind of expecting from Lori. She says, she's upset by the fact that she's been ordered to pay over $534,000 in fines and fees and court costs. And then she gives an erroneous total of 12,000 something. She probably had not yet subtracted the gas receipts out of that. And she had that number ready and waiting to go. But Trina K made a correction and Lori didn't pick up on it because she probably doesn't really listen to anything that Trina K is saying. She already has her prescribed responses written out. And yeah, this is what I observed as well, is that her entire voice changed, her demeanor changed. And, she decided to pour on the snark. Yes, exactly. She is the victim in this case. It is a little bit of narcissistic snark there. And I think the snarkiest part, though, is when she answers Judge Boreski's question. Now, this is a very typical question when a defendant stipulates to something or pleads guilty or anything like that. The judge always has to ask if there are any drugs or alcohol in their system, if they're making this decision under duress. These are very standard questions that have to get asked, but Lori takes it as an opportunity to put her butt on display, in my opinion.
And Your Honor, with that correction, it would actually be $11,747.99.
Hold on.
Look at the look on Lori's face right now. She's basically trying to conceal laughing, or she wants us to think that she's trying to stop herself from laughing.
$11,740.
$7.
And there's somebody else in the room that she keeps looking at and laughing with and smiling at. You know, she's very performative all the time.
And 99 cents.
All right.
Tossing the hair as if she just doesn't care.
Ms. Daybell, you're stipulating to pay restitution to Kay Woodcock in the amount of $11,747.99. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Did he
I know you all wanted to hear her say that one more time.
drugs, alcohol, or medication in the last 24 hours that would affect your ability to make this decision?
Have I been on any drugs, Your Honor? Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm asking, have you had any drugs, alcohol, or medication that would affect your ability to understand or make this decision today?
Is Your Honor aware that I am in prison? I have no access to any of those things. So no, the answer is no, I have not.
Thank you for answering the question. Has anyone promised you anything in exchange for your agreement to pay this restitution?
No,
Has anyone forced you, threatened you, or coerced you to get you to agree to pay this restitution?
only my trials, Your Honor, coerced me.
All right. The court finds that your agreement is knowingly, intelligently, voluntarily made. It's ordered that you pay $11,747.99 in restitution to Kay Woodcock. The restitution would take priority over any other fines and fees that have been imposed. And it's ordered that that restitution be paid out at the maximum rate allowable out of any prison account.
So essentially what that means is that, yes, she owes the state $534,000 in fines and fees, but this restitution that's going to be paid to Kay Woodcock is going to take precedence. So that will come first. And then they are allowed to go ahead and take that money, 30% of her commissary money or whatever gets paid into her prison account goes towards Kay first. I like this, Chelsea. At least we're all emotionally prepared for her attitude and lack of accountability. Patricia Burns, she doesn't listen to understand, she listens to respond. And so it matters not what is said before her response. That's so true. Yeah, she's like a teenager snarking back at her dad. Is Your Honor aware that I'm in prison? No, Lori, he had no idea, even though he sent you there. Yeah, no access to drugs in prison. Does she think the judge was born yesterday? Yeah, Judge Boreski, always so patient and kind. Thank you for answering the question. And I also am stunned but not surprised at the ability of Trina Kay to keep her wits about her and have a complete stone face while Lori is playing with her little antics. So that's it, you guys, and I'm so glad and happy that I can say that there will be absolutely no more hearings on the near horizon. We are going to have restitution coming from Brandon Boudreaux at some point, but we don't know exactly when that will happen. And I have to be honest with you, I can't promise that I'm going to cover it because I might miss it. It might happen and go by, and I will go, oh, shoot, I missed it. But, you know, as always, if I do see it out there in the Lori sphere, I'll put it on and, you know, we'll talk about it and unpack it. But as far as I'm concerned, that's really it for this. There's nothing else really to report, just that Lori was ordered to pay $11,747.99 in restitution to Kay Woodcock, which will take precedent over the other $534,000 that she already owes in fines and fees. Now, if you missed my jumping the gun live stream about a half an hour ago, I expected to go live at 3 o'clock and be able to stream this from Court TV, but apparently Court TV doesn't care enough to put a camera in the courtroom anymore. And so this hearing was streamed from East Idaho News, which I've played this clip under fair use policy. But I didn't see anything out there. I checked the court docket and everything. And so I went ahead and went on live for about 5 minutes before, calling it quits. And as soon as I turned it off, I saw that this was posted by East Idaho News. And so I decided to come on and go ahead and cover it. I'm grateful it was a short hearing, and I'm just ready to be done with it. So on the other live stream, I did mention that the audio for Lauren Mathias's stalking hearing is out. I have listened to it. I have opinions. I'm going to talk about it tomorrow. I also have or I don't have them yet, but I am being sent the declarations, and I will go ahead and cover those as well. I think it's really interesting, though, that what seems to be happening is that people have chosen sides in this Lauren Mathias case, and it seems as though the sides that people have chosen, they're just double, triple, quadrupling down on whatever their particular opinion is, and that no new information can sway them. Because here's what's interesting to me. I listened to the audio of that court hearing, and I came away with it with a very different point of view than I think most people who are actually talking about it. What I find really gross as well is that there are several channels, maybe a handful of channels, 5, 6 channels, who the only thing that they do on YouTube is drag people and tell people, tear people down. And I think that's kind of gross if that's all you're putting out there into the world. So I try to be as unbiased as I possibly can, and I do change my opinions when I get new information. And this court hearing is new information. So what I'm hoping is that the trolls will eventually just get bored and go away. And the thing is, I've talked to several people about this over the course of the last few days, and one of the things that keeps coming up for me over and over is that I have no control over what people think of me. And someone told me that one of the troll things said that they thought that I was creepy. And, I've gotten a couple of comments about me starting a channel in the midst of Lori's cases or whatever. I really don't care. I really don't care what these people think of me, because the bottom line is I know in my own body that I'm going to try to stand on the side of justice and truth. And truth is really the bottom line for me. I'm not really interested in who's right or who's wrong. I'm interested in what's true. And so when I report on cases, it doesn't matter who the case involves. I'm going to try to be fair and balanced and give you all of the facts and let you make your own determination. Yes, I have my opinions and I do share them, but I don't expect anybody to agree with me necessarily. I will say, when it comes to my dumb cousin, I'm definitely biased, 100% biased against her. So the thing that I think is really important is that when the facts come out, that people look at the facts and not just look for the information that confirms their already bias. And, all of us have biases. We do. And it's really, really important for us to acknowledge that and understand it, because we all have a tendency to one thing or another, especially when it involves something we care about, things like that. So if we can acknowledge that about ourselves at least and say, hey, I do sway to this particular side. I am perhaps biased towards the side of truth and justice and not necessarily biased towards right or left, black or white, whatever it is. So, thank you to those of you who have expressed concern for trolls saying dumb things about me online, but it doesn't really bother me, so I'm okay. Thank you for asking. I'm totally fine. So I will be covering this tomorrow, and hopefully the rest of you out there are protecting yourselves from bullying and harassment online. Hopefully you're protecting yourselves from trolls and from, if there's a nasty fight that's just mudslinging going on, hopefully you're not engaging in it. I have long said that there's a difference between criticism and attack. Criticism is, this person did a thing that I don't agree with. attack is, that's a terrible person because of how they acted. So it's not really that nuanced, but to some people it might be. It's one thing to say, I disagree with you. It's another thing to say, you're a terrible person because I disagree with you. So anyways, I will have all of that reporting for you tomorrow, as well as there's another very big case that I'm researching and looking into that I'm going to be continuing to cover. I don't think I will get to publish anything about that case until Monday, but it is going to be an investigation that will take me a long time. So I hope that you'll be patient with me as I continue to research and dive into things that I feel are important for us to discuss. And this is one of those issues. Stalking is never okay, doesn't matter who the person is. And there is an objective legal standard, and you have to meet that legal standard in order to get a restraining order or an injunction, whether it's temporary or not. So I hope that people will keep that in mind. And I look forward to presenting the information that I have tomorrow. And I hope that you guys have a beautiful Friday night and enjoy the people that you care about. Take good care of yourselves, please.